A flow splitter is a machine which allows several babies to receive oxygen from one source. You can connect it via the inlet port to a concentrator, an oxygen cylinder, or wall oxygen. You can then split the flow to multiple outlets, each of which can be regulated with its own independent flow meter.
The flow splitter is particularly useful for newborns who usually require only small doses of oxygen. It allows you to get the maximum benefit from the output of a single concentrator. And because the flow meters only go up to 2 liters per minute of oxygen, this allows you to regulate small doses much more accurately.
So the thing to remember about oxygen flow splitters is they don't generate any oxygen. They merely split what's coming from the source. So this particular oxygen splitter has 5 independent outlets and 5 adjusting flow meters, meaning you can treat up to 5 babies with oxygen from a single source.
There are 2 main things to think about when you have so many babies attached to one source. The first is that you need to be sure the concentrator is producing sufficient oxygen to go around.
The second is that you need to be well organized so as not to create a muddle with all the tubing. Otherwise, you may end up putting the wrong tubing on the wrong baby and the baby gets the wrong dosage of oxygen.
Before preparing to put a baby on the flow splitter, wash your hands and put on gloves. If you are using a concentrator as your oxygen source, it will need to run for 5 minutes to warm up.
So first of all, you need to turn on your oxygen concentrator. Okay.
Next, we need to connect the flow splitter to the oxygen source. In this case, by placing the tube that goes from the oxygen concentrator output port to the inlet port of the flow splitter. The flow splitter needs to be set up close to the concentrator, in a place where staff can easily see and adjust it and add or remove babies. It's quite heavy, so ideally it should be on a shelf with a rim to stop it falling off onto a baby. If someone pulls a tube by mistake, it could cause serious injury.
This is not just the issue with the flow meter. With all the machines which go on shelves, you need to make sure they cannot fall onto a baby. Ideally, they should not be directly above the baby's cot.
Open the flow meter on the concentrator to the maximum available. Remember, if the other concentrator port is already in use, you won't be able to open this one fully. Now you can start to add babies. Attach the tubing with the prongs. Open the first flow meter to the required amount. Look at the liters per minute on the flow meter at eye level. Otherwise, your reading will not be accurate. Once you have attached all the babies you need, you can reduce the flow rate on the concentrator in case you need to use the concentrator's second output at the same time. The rule is that the concentrator output needs to be 1 liter per minute more than the combined total from the outputs on the flow splitter. In this example, you have 3 liters per minute total coming out of the flow splitter. So the concentrator needs to be 1 liter per minute more at 4 liters per minute. To put that the other way around, if you add up all the settings on the splitter, then the concentrator needs to be 1 liter per minute more. If you add a baby or increase any of the flow rates, then you also need to increase the concentrator output, always keeping it 1 liter per minute more. Before you put prongs onto a baby, always make sure the oxygen is flowing, either feeling on the back of your hand or putting the prongs in water to bubble. You can plug tubing and prongs into any of the outlets. They are all independent from each other.
Doing things in as ordered a way as possible is important. Try to avoid crossing too many tubes over each other and making spaghetti. It is a good idea to label or number which tube and outlet is going to which baby.
This is just one model of flow splitter. There are other models, but they all work on the same principles. This model has flow meters that go up to 1 liter per minute, making fine adjustments of oxygen flow for babies easier. While the flow meters are independent from each other, when you change one, sometimes this can affect the others. Notice how the right-hand flow meter goes down slightly when the one next to it is opened. If you add a new baby, or remove one, or change any of the flow rates, immediately afterwards you should quickly check that the other babies have not been affected and are still on their correct settings.